It's time for Game Time live here at FedEx Field. I'm Larry Michael, and coming up at 7:30 tonight, it's the kickoff. Preseason game number 4, the Redskins hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars here on a steamy, hot and humid night, wrapping up the preseason. Coming up in just a couple days, Redskins have to make their cuts. And a week from Sunday, right here at FedEx Field, it's the Redskins and Miami Dolphins to kick off the 2015 regular season campaign. We can't wait for that, and we also can't wait to ask our good friend Lou Holder to step in. Lou, it is your time. Your time to shine, Lou Holder.
Larry, could you repeat that again, that there's 10 days before real football? Could you just say that again for me, please?
Yes, but there's a lot to talk about here, right now, Lou. And we're going to step aside because Colt McCoy is warming up on the center of the field. And Colt McCoy is most likely the only Redskin quarterback we see. If we have to see Kirk Cousins tonight, that will not be good news. Robert Griffin III has not been cleared to participate in a game yet. Examination coming tomorrow. So Colt McCoy gets the reps. Tell us what is on the line here tonight for the Redskins. Some players do, in fact, have a lot on the line.
Well, this hurts, Larry, because, if you have a football team that's full of competition, some people are going to get cut. They're going to get released and whatever, and you got to get down to 53, as you said, in a couple of days. So there are a lot of people that you have seen from the first day of camp, the off season. This could be their last time in a Redskins uniform. They could show up somewhere else, or this could be the end of some dreams for some people. So this is always heartbreaking for anybody who's had any type of dealing with the team. But as you said, Colt McCoy is going to get a majority, almost all the reps today. And you're right, if we see Kirk Cousins, that is not going to be good news because we need him to be upright the entire game.
Now look who's here right in front of us. It is the former Redskin quarterback Mark Brunell and a big man in Chris Baker. And he could block the sun when he goes by. There's Chris Cooley, former teammate of Mark Brunell. And there's a couple guys there. Well, that's a nice moment right there.
Do you remember that game against Jacksonville that was here on this field?
I do.
With Santana Moss had the touchdown. Cooley was in that game. Brunell was the quarterback in that game. It brings back memories. It does bring back memories.
And the team chaplain, Brett Fuller, is back to us. So you got Cooley and Mark Brunell. Those were some fun times, Lou Holder, even though, again, the Redskins might not have gone to a Super Bowl, probably would have liked to have won more games. But there were some magic moments, and some of them from Brunell. Of course, those 2 touchdown passes against Dallas, probably his best moments as a Redskin.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see, Mark Brunell there and Chris Cooley there, this organization has had some really, really good talent come through here. And you know what? There's some stars on this team, too. A lot of the starters aren't playing, but there are some stars on this team, and it's going to be good to see this whole thing gel. Change is always necessary in the NFL. It's going to be good to finally see all the starters on the field again at some point soon. And this team has a lot of potential. They went out in the offseason and got a lot of stuff on defense. The stuff on offense has been well documented. And it's ready to go. Like I said, I'm so happy that you said 10 days to football because so many people, even the preseason, although it's necessary, Larry, I know you don't like it. I don't like it because I want the games to start and count for real.
Yeah, I've changed my attitude a little bit about it, and I've made my feelings known, but this is the last preseason game of this year. And you take a look at the center of the field. I know Alex has got a shot here of Rashad Ross, and you got some wide receivers. A question, I think, Lou, tonight, the wide receiving core, will they keep 6? Will they keep 7? Rashad Ross, Evan Spencer, a couple guys who are either right on that bubble or either inside or outside. So the offense, despite the fact you've got your backup quarterback in there in Colt McCoy, you got some players who are just desperate to make the team.
Absolutely, and the question about how many they keep, no one's going to know. Not even you that's so close to that organization because Jay Gruden has some tough decisions to make on who he's going to put on that practice squad, who he's going to put on the roster, and who he's going to release. So that's going to be, something to follow. What I do want to ask you is about Matt Jones, the running back. This guy, he's exciting to watch, but he runs so hard. You've seen so many running backs come through here. Any concerns for you about his longevity in the league or what he might need to do to keep himself around for the entire year? Because that is one person, as we see Clinton Portis walking through here, that is one person that we're going to want to see the entire year.
So we might have a 3-way reunion here with Clinton Portis, Chris Cooley, and Mark Brunell. And as far as Matt Jones is concerned, I don't have that concern, I think, because he doesn't have to be the guy to carry the load. You have Alfred Morris. Matt Jones and Alfred Morris, though, just think about the fourth quarter of some of these games. during the regular season. The hope would be that their defense. Oh, here we go. Here's a great reunion right here. Watch this. Look at this.
Look at this. That's only something you get on this show. The stories that can be told right there.
Yeah, Chris Cooley, Mark Brunell, and Clinton Portis.
What do you think they're talking about, Larry?
Somebody probably owes somebody a dinner. That's probably what they're talking about. You know, what a shot. I mean, that's a great. This is a magic moment for us, knowing these three guys meant so much to the organization, and for Mark Brunell, of course. He wasn't here for the longest tenure. He is here as Jacksonville's color commentator for the TV broadcast. He's started his career in Green Bay, went to Jacksonville, and became a member of the Redskins. But, hey, that wasn't that long ago, Lou.
It wasn't. And all three of those, you got to say, were some of the favorites of Joe Gibbs 2.0. I mean, the second coming of Joe Gibbs. Love Chris Cooley. You know how I found about Clinton Portis. And Mark Brunell was the guy. And speaking of throwbacks, look who's coming. I mean, everybody's coming through.
It's Jeff Bostic.
It's Jeff Bostic.
Hey, Jeff, congratulations on the news yesterday. You're going to be the newest member of the Redskins Ring of Fame.
I'm still pinching myself to believe it's in fact true. But what I'm trying to do is just give any value to the fact that I'm coming out of retirement. I'm not Chris Cooley.
Well, you know what, Jeff Bostic, as they say, three different quarterbacks won a Super Bowl for the Redskins. There was only one person who snapped the ball to them, and that was you. And a lot of jokes about them liking your backside, but they like the front side too, Bosco, because you did some damage blocking as well.
Well, I was fortunate to play with three talented quarterbacks that were fortunate enough to take us to a Super Bowl victory, and hopefully the Hogs were a little part of it.
And quickly, Jeff, Monty Coleman also announced that he'll be going in December when the Redskins face the Bills. And for a guy that played as long as you did, can you imagine? He played longer than you did at a very high level.
Here's the thing. Monty was a specialist defensively before specialists were on defense. He was a good pass rusher. He was a great linebacker covering running backs, slot receivers. He had a guy that was 6'3", 255 pounds, could run 4.5 40. I mean, that's why we called him Superman. I mean, he was Superman. And he played 16 years and was fortunate to never really get a serious injury. And I couldn't be happier for a teammate going into the Ring of Fame with me.
Let me ask you one question before you leave. You've talked about the Hogs and the offensive line. Your thoughts about this offensive line this year, bringing in Brandon Sheriff and all the Trent Williams with the extension. Your thoughts on a line that's very important to you.
This line has to carry this offense. This offense will not be carried by a quarterback. It's not going to be carried by Kirk Cousins. It's not going to be carried by Robert Griffin. The quarterback won't carry it. This offensive line needs to be cohesive. They need to gel. They need to be led by Trent Williams, but the other pieces need to do their part. Now, the rookie out of Iowa is going to find a big challenge. Not only is he playing in a position he's not familiar with, this is a different level of animal you're blocking, okay? The good news is I like what I see. We know what we're getting with Alfred Morris, but this Jones kid looks like a pretty special running back as well. And if the quarterback that's behind center can complete passes to the receivers that they've got, keep converting first downs, I like a grind-up type of offense. We don't have to be real explosive, but I think losing the kid off the other edge, Gillette, really hurts this defense. I mean, I would like to see him on the other end and Kerrigan on the other one.
You know, Jeff, hey, Alex, take a shot up there on the side of right on the facade up there. I'm thinking, they didn't ask you where you wanted your plaque, right?
No, they did not.
Okay, well, as you see in the end zone to our right, you've got Russ Grimm on one side, you got Joe Jacoby on the other side, and so, you know what, Bosco, that might be a spot up there close to those guys.
We're not going to move Chris Hamburger, but I could see shoving Charlie Justice a little bit to the right.
Okay. Well, there you go. The great Jeff Bostic, good friend of mine over the years. He's a good man. What a good guy. Thank you to Lou Holder. We'll hear you at halftime and see you here in the stadium. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Larry. You're the best.
All right, this is Game Time Live here at FedEx Field. Larry Michael now joined by the managing editor of Redskins.com. I hope I got his title right. The guy's been promoted. I mean, he gets promoted every 3 months. He gets a promotion. How can I keep it straight? But Andrew Walker, of course, is who I'm talking about. And you're ready to go. You got your game face on.
Yeah, I got my game face. Now, Larry, is it true that you are the emergency quarterback tonight?
We didn't want to let that out of the bag quite yet, not to, for fear of scaring the opposition. We want them to come out before I take. No, I'm not. And I would think that Kirk Cousins is the emergency quarterback tonight if needed. And it's an odd situation, isn't it?
What about after Kirk? I mean, you always hear like maybe Darrell Young or Jordan Reed played quarterback.
Darrell Young's not playing in this game.
They're not playing. So what do you do? I mean, we see Derek Carrier has a pretty good arm out here. So.
No, I would go with Quentin Dunbar because he plays defense and offense.
Plays
so
everything else.
Why
plays
not?
Everything else, yeah.
Andrew, what do you think about Colt McCoy tonight? Now, obviously, there was a competition for the number 2, what was thought to be the number 2 job, and Kirk Cousins edged him out. I think the numbers were better when they had a chance to play, but lo and behold, that now became the battle for number 1 with the injury to Robert Griffin III and the subsequent announcement that Kirk Cousins would be the starter. Now, how do you think Colt McCoy handled that, and what do you expect out of Colt McCoy in this game tonight where we expect him to go the whole way?
Right, well, you talk about Kirk. Here's a guy who all preseason had a great command of the offense. The one interception he threw was just a great play by Suggs, an all-pro type guy. But, with McCoy, he's shown a great ability to be able to escape the pocket. He has a great sense of pressure. That's what you need in the pocket, obviously. So, that's really what he's shown so far. And he makes plays off schedule. He's made a nice first down pass. Jameson Crowder last week. It was his first reception of the game right along the sideline on third down. So, Colt McCoy does a really good job making up his own plays when he needs to, making plays from the pocket when he needs to, getting the ball to the right people. So, really think, especially against a Jaguars team that second and third stringers that are trying to make their squad, I think he could carve it up a little bit tonight.
Now, a lot of the Redskins will not play in this 4th and final preseason game of the year. In fact, more than just the starters will not play. A guy like Matt Jones walking in front of us, we hear word that he will not play. Of course, Jordan Reed, starting tight end, he will not play. But at the bottom of the roster, there's some guys here who need to play, want to play, because they believe they can play their way onto the team. Talk about some of the guys I mean.
Right. I'm looking at a guy like Terrence Plummer. He's in about that middle linebacker spot, special teams type guy. Martrell Sprate right there, but he was a draft pick. You think he might be, more higher regard as a draft pick. Also guys like DeShazer Everett. We talked about him last week. Made a huge special teams hit on the punt. Houston Bates, 3 sacks this preseason, tied with Jackson Jeffcoat. I think Jeffcoat's a lock for the roster at this point, but look at guys like that so far. Also Trey Williams, is there a spot for him? Maybe, maybe not, but he's shown a little bit of juke and shake and bake in him. So those are kind of the main guys. And also tonight, a guy that will start eventually, Bashad Breeland's getting his first action tonight, or he's not on the not expected to play list, and he's suited up. So we'll see how his knee's looking. He's been practicing fully. I hear he had a couple picks in practice the other day and looked real good. So excited to see what he can do.
They take a guy like Bashad Breeland, who had such a great year last year, and a slip during training camp, and he was out for training camp. That could have turned out a lot worse. And in looking at him and talking to him, he's got a serious look about him because he knows that his career could have, I don't want to say be ruined, but he could have missed a long time if that had been a more severe injury. And you got some other Redskins, too, on defense. Where are the toughest cuts going to be, Andrew, before we let you go? Where are some of the toughest positions the Redskins have, the toughest decisions to make?
I mentioned the middle linebacker spot. That's going to be a tough one. The wide receiver position, you said, do they keep 6, 7, 5, 6, 7? Usually probably 6, maybe 7. But, both Evan Spencer and Rashad Ross have done their jobs this preseason. And Rashad Ross maybe even more than asked of him, 3 touchdowns. So, and he also, I guess, if he gets one tonight, he's told our Redskins.com crew he has a special dance in store. So hopefully he gets that. But yeah, I'd say that wide receiver spot on offense and the middle linebacker spot on defense is what I'm looking at tonight.
All right, thank you, Andrew Walker. I know you got a lot to do. He does an outstanding job, managing editor of Redskins.com. Kickoff coming up at 7:30 tonight here at FedEx Field. The Redskins and Jacksonville Jaguars. It'll be the 5th overall meeting between the Redskins and Jaguars. Obviously, not a long-standing series. The Jaguars have won all 4 of the previous meetings. They are 1-2 coming into this game. The Redskins are 3-0. And there is Kirk Cousins as we say goodbye, the starting quarterback for the Oh, look at that. That's a good-looking man, Chris Baker. He's always loving the camera. We thank Alex Diamond Jen Hinkle and our crew, and thank you for watching Game Time Live. Don't forget kickoff coming up tonight as there's Bruce Allen and the rest of the Redskins coming by. Thanks for watching Game Time Live, and we'll see you next time on Redskins.com.